Hey, hi everybody. Woohoo! I missed Sunday. I got a couple. Can everybody hear me okay? Hi, Melody. Hi, Melody. Hi, Julie. Yes, you're in the right place. Good to see you, Julie. So, I'm in Mexico. It's it's wonderful. It is so much warmer than Portland, Oregon. Oh, you can hear me fine? Great. I feel good. I had a shower. We went to see the pyramids. Titicaca? I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. Anyway, that's what we did today. Yeah. So I wanted to come on earlier to do the live stream because we get together on Sundays. So I thought I would wait, come back, and we would do, I don't know, like a hot topics or something, hang out a little bit since I had missed going live earlier. So hello to Michelle Hoyt. How you doing? Diane T is in the house. Howdy to you. Teresa Halderan. Hello. Debbie M. Yes, I'm in Mexico City and very nice. It's very nice here. So we'll be here for about 4 days. And I know, not a long time. And then afterwards, we're going to take a plane to Oaxaca. What is it called? Escondida? What is it called? Something Escondida? Playa Escondida? Is that right? I don't know. Hello, Melissa Miller. How are you today? So, tell me a little bit about what you've been doing today since I missed the brunch. I apologize, as I was climbing on top of a Mexican pyramid. So, yeah. So, today I am having Pete's coffee while I join you. I have a bottle of water because the water is not safe in Mexico. Um, for breakfast, they did have green juice. So I had some green juice. I had some fruit. I had some yogurt. I had a sweet roll. Oh my gosh, that is so much like what I think about when I think about Mexico, when I think about the Middle East, is sweet bread and coffee in the morning. What's amazing when you look at the architecture and the food, arroz con pollos, and you go to the Middle East and you get arroz con pollos, right? You get chicken and rice. There's so much similarities I find between Mexican culture and Middle Eastern culture, even the bread, the sweet bread in the morning with coffee, the white cheeses. I think it must have something to do with the fact that Spain was conquered by the Moors and that it influenced the cooking, the cuisine. It was part of the Silk Road, the rice, and they brought those foods, the chicken, they brought all that stuff to Mexico and it became part of the cuisine because I think prior to the Spaniards, they didn't have cattle, they didn't have horses, they didn't have chicken, they didn't have rice. So these things that we think about as Mexican foods are actually foods of the Middle East, of the Silk Road. The chicken from China came up into Persia and the Middle East, and the rice, of course, from China. Delish. So tell me what you guys are doing. Yes, I went to the Mexican pyramids, Melody. It was amazing. Though I think my theory, because I'm an anthropologist, my theory is that the pyramid was originally Swidden agriculture, which is a type of agriculture which can work in drought because you shape it like this and then you plant, and when the water comes down, it drips down and it maximizes the water. Any water gets dripped down to the other plants, and then you have collection areas. And so I think the original people that built the pyramid, it was just a complicated irrigation system for watering in droughts. And then they left because they couldn't survive. And then the Aztecs discovered the ruins. And yeah, so then the Aztecs began to use the ruins for worship. Well, I think if you cook the water, I think that they use it for boiling, but, to drink straight out of the tap, and I think that that's the kind of, thing they're worried about. Ooh, Korean chicken today. Mary had Korean chicken. Num, num, num. Okay, well, I think we're ready to get started. We have 178 people. So those people who don't know what's going on, we didn't get to have a Sunday brunch today, but I wanted to, I gotta see you. You know, I can't quit you. I gotta see you. So I decided to come on a little later. So would people like to talk a little bit about remote views? Would people like to get a collective reading? Um, in terms of people had asked, would I do some remote viewing of the site of the pyramids? And that was kind of what I took away from the site, was that it was just an agricultural facility that was ritualized later. Yeah. So I hear politics, politics never disappoints. They did an investigation into George Santos, and it came back that he was, of course, everything was a lie. But now they're doing a deep dive into all these other Congress people. And now we've got plenty more of Congress people we can investigate due to fraud and misrepresentation. Oh, roasted cauliflower and broccoli. I'm doing a fast. When I get back, I'm gonna clean my diet up. I'm gonna get so strict. I gotta come up with all I need is something sweet in my coffee that doesn't have calories that taste good, and I haven't found it yet. Monk fruit's not doing it. That is my big calorie problem, is sugar in my coffee. Yeah. Yes, Melissa. So I think it's good. I think it's good that these investigative reporting is coming out on other people. But the takeaway is, why wasn't this kind of vetting happening sooner? You know? All right. So I think we've got 192 people here, and it was kind of unannounced. So I don't expect us to get too many more people than that. So I think we should go ahead and do the empath prayer. And then if people want a collective reading, it sounds like people want to get a message from spirit. Your personal reading will be given to you today. How a collective reading works is that I ask spirit to read for the collective, but also send a personal reading to anybody who's watching, so that you take the parts that work for you. We believe in the collective consciousness, and we see where it takes us. Well, thank you for that donation, Elizabeth. Much appreciated. So let's do it together. If you know the empath's prayer, please feel free to say it with me. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Amen, everyone. Good to see you. We had a good message last week, I felt. I think the guidance has been good that's been coming in. All right, where you are at right now and what Spirit would like you to focus on. You must determine at this time what you want to do with your time. That is what they want you to think about. We have only a certain amount of hours in the day, and we only have a certain amount of time on this earth. And so, do you want to spend it engaging in pointless arguments with people that go nowhere, relationships that go nowhere, narcissism, where you call someone out on something and they tell you they want to play a game, or vice versa. If it's a dynamic that you're having with somebody, and you feel that that individual is not able to own their behavior, or vice versa, if you feel that the arguments are not getting anywhere, an inverted five of wands. This is an energy where people are talking at each other, but they're not listening to each other. And so it could be a time to step back and be meditative and work on having honest relationships, but it's also a time for us to be aware of energy. It's like chasing your own tail, fighting with no one, going round and round. It's a waste of your energy. Think in terms of what you want to create in the world for yourself right now. And part of that requires a certain type of discipline that many of us have not been raised with. There are certain people that are just unbelievably conscious of their time. They have excellent time management. They get up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. and they do their mantras. And for many of us, it just seems unachievable. But the truth be told, we can all learn to be more disciplined. We can make a decision today that we're going to stick to a cleaner diet, right? We can make a decision today that we are not helpless, that we will return our bodies to health, that we will take 100% responsibility for our lives and take on the discipline and the work necessary to achieve our goals, and not waste time on empty arguments that only take what little energy we have, because again, we have a limited amount of time on earth and a limited amount of energy. Entering into the time of the King of Swords. So the universe is asking you to look objectively at your relationships and how you are having a relationship with yourself, and ask yourself, is this in any way, shape, or form helping you? Can you look at yourself objectively? What do you want? How do you want to get there? And be honest with yourself. What do you truly want, and how are your actions currently helping you get there? The King of Swords teaches discipline. In the original tradition, and I go all the way back to Africa, not to the European gods, I go even further. I go back to the most ancient gods, the Orisha of of Nigeria. And the reason I do that is because of the culture, the stories of Nigeria made their way out into the rest of the world, and I believe that they influenced later archetypes. But what I would say about the King of Swords is that he closely resembles the Yoruba god Ogun, and Ogun teaches us work and he teaches us discipline. But the other thing about Ogun is that he's highly sensitive. He's a highly sensitive deity, so much so that he was said to, they say these are based on real people that once lived, but that he lived in a cave in the earth. He lived down in the earth, and there would be a chain, and you would pull the chain when you needed his help, and he would crawl out of the hole. He, by today's standards, we might diagnose him as suffering from some type of chronic depression, low self-esteem, high expectations. He was extremely hard on himself because he expected more from himself. And when he failed to live up to his own standards, he would become morose. So this is the energy, or this is the karma time of the King of Swords. And so your standards for yourself, if you're coming into that energy, are probably extremely cold, harsh, disciplined. But the good thing that Ogun teaches us is it teaches us how to focus less on ego and more on being effective in your work. Oh, hi, aggravated progressive. Good to see you. So again, when it comes to indecision, this is where I think Stoicism helps me personally, in the sense that I like to listen to the Ryan Holiday. I like to listen to the Daily Stoic for a number of reasons. But it's all about not letting yourself get pulled into that state of wanting to hide under a rock, or letting yourself fall into that, and simply Get up every day and commit to doing your best and slowly focusing on your goal, whether it's to, improve your health, whatever the discipline is. And if you get on off the horse, you get back on it, and there's another day. Where you're at right now is Two of Pentacles, and that can be a back and forth. So again, this is an energy where you're going here, you're falling into bad habits, maybe you're wasting your time with arguments with people that are not getting you anywhere. And again, this energy of Ogun, focus on discipline, be stoic, put emotion aside, and focus on what you need to do. Putting it in the grave, this back and forth, this lack of discipline, Two of Pentacles is put in the grave. What is above you, the Emperor, time to use your head, be logical. What you sit in, Ten of Cups, love, romance. If you want to have a meaningful relationship with somebody, it has to be based on something that's real, not on games. You're coming out of a time of Tower. Maybe you've come through some difficult times in the past, some poor relationships, some conflict with others, but now is actually a positive time with the Three of Wands. So Three of Wands is about talking about creating a new kind of relationship. If you're associating it with coming out of Tower and entering into the Three of Wands is your ship coming in. With discipline, with objectivity, with focusing your energy in the right direction comes good things in the world, including romance for some of you. Don't waste your time on people that don't want to love you, that play games. Narcissist, right? They string you along because they like the attention, but they have no interest in they don't want to date you. They just want someone there validating them, right? So that would be an example of a relationship that goes nowhere. That's just a waste of time. And you've just wasted 6 months on somebody that has no interest in you. They're just giving you attention because it feeds their ego to have you adore them. That would be an example of a narcissistic wound. So Six of Cups is about looking for real connections and soulmates. And you have a Wheel of Fortune here, which means that by doing the work, by being real, by bringing your authentic self to the table, you have an opportunity to build profound, meaningful relationships. Some of them are sexual in nature. Some of them are just profound friendships. Great time to be a woman. We're seeing a lot of power cards for women, the feminine energy, both in men and in women. Men are learning that they don't have to be so defensive, that women we like gentlemen. We like gentle lovers. And then the Empress. So you're going to be okay financially. If you're true to yourself, if you're disciplined, if you put your best foot forward, go for what you want, you're going to be okay creatively, and you're going to be okay financially. Hola, Melissa. The clarification for you is I see many of you becoming masters. Don't be afraid of mastery. Don't be afraid of saying, yeah, I worked really, really hard to be good at my job. My goal in life, everybody has a goal. One of my goals in life is that I want to be the best physician that I can be. I do this, and I try to be the best reader I can be, right? The best remote viewer. And if I screw up, I own it. And then I try to go back. Well, how was I biased? Don't let my ego get in the way. My goal is not my ego. My goal is I want to be the best reader I can to help people and to have fun, right? Same with my work as a doctor. I am committed to the mastery, not from a place of ego, but because that's what I'm called to do in the world, and I want to do the best I can. So the clarification for you is don't be afraid of your mastery. I see romance coming for many of you. This King of Pentacles and an Empress if you're looking for women. So that would be like goddess energy. For the women, it's King of Pentacles. So that's a solid earthy energy around you. Your hope and fear. There's a real fear of being too powerful. Fear of the powerful card. Fear of psychic abilities. Pull back, work on yourself. You're going to be fine. Four of Pentacles is here as well. Conserve your energy, people. Overall, a great reading. It's okay to love your family. I mean, I'm looking at these cards and I'm thinking like, I feel like I have to say to you, you love your family, you love your ex-husband, sort of, or whoever it is you're having conflicts with, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever. And just because a relationship doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that they're the worst person in the world. Or just because you can't communicate with a sister, brother, mother, sister, uncle, whatever, doesn't mean that they're a horrible person. That's not the message of spirit. The message to spirit isn't a judgment at all about the other person. The message from spirit to you is you're spinning your wheels and getting into arguments with people that are achieving nothing other than burning you out. So be mindful of that. And that's the message. And instead, all that energy could be put towards bringing something productive in the world and fulfilling your destiny of mastery, which is what we're all called to do, whether it's as an artist or a naturopathic doctor or whatever it is. And that is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to take a sip of water. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. We're starting late because I went to I don't know if you heard, I went to the pyramids. It was awesome. It was really awesome. The tour guide was excellent. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Equus 3333. I think Equus 3333 has been here. She or they has seen the blood, sweat, and tears. I seem to recall you when I had less than 500 subscribers. I think you have been here for a very long time. T-Bird 2191, how you doing? Oshun Star? Oshun, like the goddess Oshun? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you got benefit from the reading. So I want to do some blitzes when I get the order. Oh, you want to see? There's not much to see. This is the bed. There's the bathroom over there. It's nice. It's the standard room. Expedia.com. I always stay at places that have breakfast because talk about lack of discipline, right? I have to have a cup of coffee in the morning. So whenever people are ready to give me the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away, I hope I'm not interrupting anybody else's live feed. I don't think Linda was coming on tonight, was she? I think because I checked. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. All right, so we're getting the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away. I think that there was somebody that asked me a question a while ago. Yes, Ronald. Hi, Ronald. If water is not fit to drink, what do they use for cooking food and coffee when water is needed? Oh, that was about Mexico. I think we talked about that. They boil it. They boil the water. All right. Here is a question from Diane T. Hi, Diane. When will dark money be traced and revealed? When will the prosecutions happen? Don't you think that a lot of the prosecutions with dark money have already happened? I mean, didn't they pretty much say that Deripaska? That I think that what they're basically saying, Diane, is that the FBI out of New York is compromised, that Hillary Clinton was the senator of New York, and the Republicans were doing business with Deripaska, and that he bankrolled the whole thing, including giving large amounts of money to people inside the FBI, and they feel that McGonigal is the tip of the iceberg. And so I think we are seeing now, because people are actually getting hauled off to prison, to jail, we are beginning to see very clearly the dark money. And it goes back to Deripaska and Julian Assange, who's fighting extradition to the United States. But let's take a look and see if, I'm curious to see if more is going to come out about it. More information about the dark money, bribing FBI. I mean, McGonigal was one of those guys who had access to top secret information, and he's the person you don't want flipping. You don't want him joining the other side, but he did. All right, the dark money and the investigation. I think it's been a wake-up call. The first thing that I'm getting when I go into the energy of the FBI is that there's a feeling of being stunned. The FBI is stunned. They're stunned anytime somebody is caught going rogue. It's uh, it's shocking for the FBI because they feel that they go through a lot of testing of people who take on positions in the FBI. There's a lot of testing, there's a lot of background checks, etc. And they're usually confident about the type of character or person that's going to be in a situation like the situation that McGonigal was in. So for for the FBI, this was a shocker because I've done remotes into the FBI and it's closed. Every case is closed with a closed group of people, and you have to report to a closed group of people. So it's very compartmentalized to the FBI. So you don't necessarily know what other agents are up to. And it's a lot of compartmentalization. So it's entirely possible that this was completely off the radar for the majority of people who work at the FBI. And so the first thing that's coming in is the ethos, the constitution, or the values or ethics of the people that were involved in the corruption. This kind of shock that they could have been so deeply compromised, that the type of people had gone rogue. So that is the fundamental shock. I mean, the fact that Michael Flynn was compromised. How could these people who we thought we knew so well flip, uh, become corrupted? The investigation's happening very quickly. The karma card is an 8 of Wands, which is a card that denotes quick, quick, quick. It also, if it's associated with a negative aspect, if you're looking at the negative aspect, it's strife. So strife coming quick, quick, quick. There's a star. So in an investigation, it's like a star witness. At this point, I would say McGonigal is in so much trouble. The fact that one of the top agents has been openly arrested, that should be a heads up of how far we've gotten into the investigation, because usually when you're willing to have somebody that high profile, this kind of public arrest, it means that they've probably gotten pretty far into the investigation. They are very confident they found the money. Ace of Pentacles with a star, which would be the money. There also is this feeling that they, every question that the DOJ had about the mishandling of investigations that the FBI had, pretty much they feel that those questions have been answered. There was a lot of backstabbing that took place in the FBI, from what I can see, and people have accused McGonigal's actions of costing the lives of CIA agents as well. I think that's entirely possible, that we're looking at that kind of serious allegation, because there's a 10 of Swords in the investigation, which could be a betrayal. And then we're entering into a time of confinement, red tape, but Queen of Swords is coming, and that would indicate, excuse me, Lady Justice. Lady Justice is coming for them. This is Oya's card in the African tradition. Oya, she's the only female warrior that goes to battle with Chongo. She carries a sword, and she also, she helps carry people to death. She deals with the death realm, probably because she was a fighter. There's an issue of the legacy of corruption that's currently taking place in our intelligence agencies. Ten of Pentacles, as I've said, is a legacy card, and it has to do with our inheritance, our legacy, but it also has a dark aspect of family secrets. So, family secrets inside the feds, and we can see the Justice card. DOJ is right over them. The hopes and fears that there was cooperation or contraband, as they say, with the Two of Cups. And then the final outcome for the investigation. I mean, it's just, it just looks like people caught literally with their hands on the cookie jar. Nine of Pentacles holding on to the money. They were caught with the money. So, in plainer words, however the money was transferred, if it was transferred to bank accounts, if it was transferred via cryptocurrency. They've just found one of Julian Assange cryptocurrency accounts, and of course, they now have the ability to do what they couldn't do a few years ago, which is find out who was giving him money, etc. But that's pretty much what they're saying. They followed the money, and they're basically, the prosecutions are happening now. Or answer to your question, Diane, it's happening now. And this is a 3-month period where we're going to see additional charges. The Three of Wands, 3 months, literally, a ship coming in over the investigation. They found the accounts. Yeah. I mean, I think that the majority of people that work for the feds, the FBI, which is basically what the FBI was saying, the majority of people that work for the FBI are good, decent people that they want to serve their country. They're not there to get rich. It's not the best paying job in the world. And so you go through extensive psych testing, etc., so that they know you're not going to be that person. And so when it happens, and when it happens to somebody as powerful as McGonagall, there's just shock waves. And that's the sad part of it. Okay, so this question is coming from Life is a Mindset, Lorraine. Hi. She wants to know if CNN has been changing its direction. I don't know if I see that. I know that people have been talking about CNN changing its direction. I think what CNN may be trying to do is get off this ESPN, the sports kind of knock 'em, sock 'em, this type of violent rhetoric that was popular with Trump, that we saw with CNN, where you have two groups fighting, people talking to each other like you would never want to talk to anybody. That's really created a very toxic political environment. So if they're changing their ways, hopefully it's to move against that, because that's not helping the country. It's actually doing a lot of damage. Let us engage in polite discourse. When you start talking about the other side, using terms like cockroach or any kind of comments where you in some way imply that the other person isn't human or is less human than you're setting up a very dangerous you're setting up a very dangerous scenario. It's like what's happening at Fox. There's a lot of people that feel that Fox is probably going to lose this lawsuit with Dominion, and that they knew what they were doing was wrong, and they knew that this lawsuit would take them out. And it's very possible. It goes back to the remotes. I think many of the other readers have seen the same thing. When we went in as remote viewers, it looked like the feds were all over. They were all over Fox. And part of that has to do with the fact that it looked like they themselves had been compromised. So, They're basically saying that CNN is going to do it has a formula to make sure that it's financially in a great place. So it's success financially. They want to change up the way that they present, and it was mostly an economic decision. So maybe they had a bad reputation because they were not including certain political views. The decisions they make going forward to be successful mostly had to do with economic decisions about reassessing the brand so that the brand could be more inviting to more viewers. That's actually true. Successful within a year, Ace of Swords victory, and it's about there's an economic aspect, the Nine of Pentacles. It was a judgment that had to be made. Maybe they were developing people felt they had liberal bias, etc. So trying to get off of that and move more towards just neutral facts and good reporting, walking away from judgment. What is above them? King of Rods, new management coming in, new partnerships. So they may have lost some of their revenue. So they want to bring in more revenue. The Moon card. Oh, there's some confusion with them. Oh, there's some kind of there are federal investigations into not just Fox, but also CNN regarding some corruption or something that took place. Confusion about an investigation or somebody facing possible jail from in their past. Hopes and fears. Yeah, they totally revamped it. They must be under new management or something. And then the final outcome, the devil. So they have to be very careful that in their desperate attempts to draw in more people or to appear more neutral, they don't end up doing business with people they regret in the future. And there's some kind of investigation that may not be totally public with Fox. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? Very interesting. Hi, Lenore52. Good to see you. Gracias, doctora. You're welcome. De nada. Boy, that high school Spanish is not working right now. Let me tell you. It's one of those things I definitely need to yeah, work at. All right, let's see what else is going. I'm just trying to read through everything. Did the United States destroy the Nord Stream pipeline? I think I did a remote on this, and the answer is yes. They destroyed because what yes, because Biden's told us he did. Biden said that they had, and what did he say? I swear to you, if there was any other way we could have done it without the environmental cost, we would have done so. They had no choice. They had to stop him. He's a madman. If we let him have what he wants, he'll take half of Europe. That was what Biden said in the remote. Yes. So it goes back to those of you who've been watching for a while. What Putin wanted. He wanted to get his trade out. We now know he was referring to these pipelines going into Europe, and that NATO had been thwarting his efforts, intimidating him, blocking his trade, declaring war on Libya for fake reasons in order to screw up his opportunity to create they were buying his steel and they were going to help build a train system into Africa. So everywhere Putin went, he felt that his economic aspirations for Russia had been sabotaged. And when other people like China, Xi looked at it, they said, yes, you're being sabotaged. The West is actively trying to financially destroy you. And it had a negative impact. The economy has dropped. Some people blame Putin. Some people blame Putin and the West. And part of that is because of OPEC and the fact that we want to control the oil and we want to control the profits for the oil. So you have the unholy alliance between Saudi Arabia, Britain, and the United States, but you have other oil producers like Iran, um, and Russia, who are allied, that are trying to sell oil. China needs to get oil from somebody. So this becomes the whole um, situation, right? Of fighting for oil, fighting for trade, and was the United States right in doing this? And I will let my viewers decide. I think that they need to be the ones to decide. Okay, we're going to do one more. Um, Diane writes, "What do you see for the women of Iran?" Oh yeah, boy, isn't that a nightmare? Let's see about the future of Iran. Hi, be grateful. Good to see you. All right. Oh, do I feel that it was an act of war when they sabotaged the pipeline? I think that before this, look, if you look at the remotes from a couple of years ago, because we didn't know what he was talking about. Nobody was covering it in the news. We honestly didn't know what Putin. My job is not to judge, right? Yeah, we have HCRV practitioners now. They know what I'm talking about. I mean, we're just supposed to do the 5 steps and then deliver the message. Nobody knew what the heck we were talking about. I didn't know what Putin was talking about. I want Ukraine. I want Ukraine. And then I read about the life of Ivan the Terrible, who he calls Ivan the Great. And Ivan the Terrible took Crimea, and then they built Odessa. So when you understand the cultural context, Putin sees himself as being like Ivan the Terrible. And he's going to, this powerful man who's going to take, and also Ivan the Terrible believed that he was the head of the church, that the church, that he was the one to lead the church. He had messianic illusions, right? So learning that about Ivan the Terrible helped me understand the remote views we got on Putin. So now it's happened, the very thing that Putin said, don't do this thing, don't do this. What I always felt from the remotes, not that anybody who hires me cares about my opinion as a professional remote viewer, depending on who I'm working for. Nobody cares, and they shouldn't. But if people ask me personally, as a remote viewer, because you're getting the feed, it sounds like a radio in your head. You're getting the feed and you're just delivering the radio message, right? I thought, well, they should have some mediation, because if Putin is telling the truth that we're violating our treaties and we're sabotaging his country, then I don't know if that's entirely legal, and maybe they should sit down and mediate. And maybe if they had, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now, but I don't know. Yeah, says Levy, you remember, give me my damn trade route. He wouldn't shut up about it, right? People literally had to pull the plug on the remotes because they would send me down, and I would, at first it was, think about all the great things we did for the children of Mongolia. They didn't have enough food. We gave them free vaccination and free education, right? And I would be getting these feeds and I'd be like, really? They started a public health program in Mongolia? I gotta Google that. And then it turned out to be true. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. um, you remember those remotes? So now we did the thing he told us not to do, right? Okay, so one more. We're gonna do one more. Yeah, it was funny when I was getting that feed, people were like, "How do we unplug this record, this Putin record? Turn it off, turn it off." And then I would stop and people would send me to go remote view something else. And then people would ask Putin, and then he'd be back on again. I'm on my turn off. I'm on my guy had OCD about that pipeline. My goodness. It's all he cared about. Okay, the women of Iran. It's about who has power, right? So when we think about justice, this is something that's come up a lot with the monarchy and all the scandal because one of the monarchs left spare, right? Harry, why it's so significant is because it rarely happens that somebody from the upper echelons, the upper classes who has all the power, leaves it and goes off and does their own thing. It's a very rare thing because it's not good and bad. The law is about the haves and the have-nots, and the law is set up so that the haves can continue to keep it, right? So that's kind of what you see playing itself out in the whole world. The haves don't want to give up the power. So you have this confusion. There's a genuine feeling in Iran that they are directionless. Seven of Cups is to be directionless. They genuinely don't know where to go at this point. A lot of people have suffered. Ten of Swords. The world is too transparent now. In the sense that everybody in Iran has a computer and they go online and they watch Friends in Farsi and um, people just they've become encultured to popular culture. You know, popular culture has become the culture. And part of that is not great. And part of that is really great. Some things about pop culture are great. And one of the great things about pop culture that's made its way into the rest of the world is this idea of encouraging people that they can be anything they want to be. You know, even though Rachel worked as a waitress, she had big dreams, right? So part of popular culture was good, particularly in the sense that it showed women being self-actualized, independent, etc. But what it's done is that kids grew up in these countries seeing this world, and then it was in stark contrast to their daily life. And so eventually people rebelled. Unfortunately, you still have this betrayal coming up. This is something we've talked about before when we talk about uh, Iran, that people are having meetings and protest, and then informants are reporting on who went to the meetings and then torturing the victims, and then they have to deliver more names, and that is how they are clamping down on the protest. They are very concerned about world condemnation. The whole world is criticizing Iran, and Iran is very aware of world criticism. Archangel Raphael is over them, which is the angel we associate with uh, healing. According to what they are telling me, and this can go and get checked. According to what they are telling me, they are attempting to create independence in their justice system separate from the Ayatollah. That they feel like strengthening a secular court in Iran, uh, uh, throwing out the Ayatollah and instead building the courts is going to be the way to save Iran. That they need a strong secular court system. You can see they want to strengthen their courts, and they want to strengthen secular courts and to do away with religious courts. And the progress is going to be made with the intellectuals in the legal system. That's basic. They're saying legally that they will win through the law, that they will win through the courts, through their lawyers. You know, kind of like we have an ACLU. They have something similar, and the power is with the people in the eighth house, which would be the opposition to Iran. And then the final outcome Poverty. There's sanctions and poverty. Be patient. So they're saying be patient over the revolution. Things will get better. The people who are the young people who are becoming lawyers, activists, etc. They're working to build a court system that will become stronger than the religious extremists. This is what they're saying. That there is a conscious awareness, even amongst the religious extremists, that things have to change. And even though things are dark now, be patient. The Temperance card comes as an outcome, and Archangel Raphael is there. They will come out of this. So that is the message. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed hanging with me here in beautiful Mexico. I have a little bit of heat stroke. I'm feeling like, ugh, a little bit of that. So I'm gonna have some more water. I had a great shower. And yeah, I'll try and get on again. If you're trying to get in with a reading with me, if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, I will be back, I think, February 28th. And I have openings after February 28th for phone readings. The information is below the video. If you need me to do a pre-taped reading, I can do that for you. I am doing the taped readings while I'm here in Mexico. The information is also below the video, and that is the Wizio readings. All right. Be well, everybody. Thank you for being patient today, because I wasn't able to get on earlier. And guess that's all I got for you. Be sure and support the other readers, all that good stuff. And I will see you next time. Maybe I hope I can come back for Thursday's Hot Topics. We'll see how it works out. All right. Be well, everyone. Do it on the beach, right?